Becky, Asia said, it wasn't about X's and O's, and this one was more that kind of want to factor. And I know it's first game from back from the break and all that, but as a coach, when that want to isn't there, and you hear that from your leader, how do you go about coaching to kind of bring that out of them?
They have to bring that. They have to bring that. If I could give it to them, believe me, I would give it to them. They have to bring that aspect, because that's internal. Like I said, I can sit there and try to put Band-Aids over these little cuts and bruises, but when you're bleeding internally, doesn't do much.
Coach, I saw some of your expressions there on the sideline there where you felt like too many uncontested threes, even though they weren't knocking them down. New York wasn't knocking them down consistently like they normally do. But I could see that the team just wasn't playing up to Becky Hammon's standards. I felt that in the second half. What do you do to get the gals refocused and, what's at hand, a three-peat, all that stuff? But I know you're a one game at a time mentality coach.
I mean, you hold that team to under 80 points, you need to win. So tonight, the problem was more on the offensive end than the defensive end. I think we shot 3 for 22 after the first quarter. That's not going to get it done against the best team in the league, and they are the best team. Really, this is just a disappointing effort, and I continue to harp on it. It looks different when they play together. Playing the right way isn't optional. It's not based on whether this person can make a shot or not. It is based on what the defense is doing. And the ball was late. We had multiple people go just freaking rogue. Just rogue. And it looks incredibly selfish. Because it is. And I don't care whether it's who is shooting. AC, Kia, Kate, Tip. I always think it's going in. They got to think that about each other. And that helps you make the right play. But, I mean, we just, after that first quarter, obviously it looks better when the ball goes in. I think we made 6 threes in the first. Conversely, like I said, I think we did a pretty decent job defensively. I'm not happy about the 13 offensive rebounds. They took 9 more shots. I'm like, wouldn't you guys have like 9 more attempts? That would be nice. Our team got up 9, but we still aren't doing the little things for each other. And we just have to have people have better performances. We gotta shoot the ball better too. I mean, when you're playing a team like that is that loaded, you have to play well. And we had some people that didn't play well.
Going back to Jesse's question, a lot of the things that you're saying today are just things that you kind of said throughout the season. Still entering play tonight, your team was favored by 3.5 points. What does that say about how this group is still kind of recognized widely, despite the way that this season is going for you guys so far?
I don't know. That's other people's thoughts and opinions. I actually don't care. We're over, under, what the fuck. I don't care. Sorry.
Coach, what have the challenges been like this week, just trying to get your Olympians back into the groove of things?
I mean, what they were over there with the last month is exhausting. I mean, it'd be foolish to say otherwise. A lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of pounding. So it's just really about giving them the rest that they needed, but we looked a little rusty. We looked like we hadn't really played in a week. That's funny because New York just played LA and they didn't look like they missed a beat. They didn't exceptionally shoot the ball well tonight. We just probably shot a little worse. But that's why you can't have all those other little things go wrong. New York's very unselfish, and I think that's probably their best attribute.
One more question in the room, and then we'll close it out with Kevin on Zoom.
I just wanted to get more a clearer perspective on what you're saying. You said that players kind of went rogue, and then you mentioned like obviously that looks better when the shot's going. So did you feel that things weren't going according to the correct game plan in the first quarter when everything was going well? Like was there some going rogue in the first quarter?
No, there wasn't. That's why we scored 28, because the ball was moving. Going rogue is I just hang on to it and dribble in place. for 20 dribbles. That's not how we play. And we're not going anywhere with that. And it was multiple people just dribbling. And us standing, staring at that person dribble in place. That was an ugly game. Sorry for the TV audience. Both sides kind of.
And you feel like that shift happened from first to second? Like,
I feel like it happened second, third, fourth. As soon as it started not going great, we decided, well, we're just gonna make the right play sometimes. Like I said, playing the right way is not optional, and it is not based on whether the ball goes in or out. It is a mandatory, necessary way to play. Because here's the other thing, you won't have the efficiency that I know my players are hard on themselves about. My players are hard on efficiency on themselves. I don't have to get on Jackie Young or KP or Chelsea. They don't like shooting the ball like this. If if they score 20 and they took 25 shots, they're not happy with that. So my message, to the whole team is you will actually play better. You will shoot better when we get ball movement. You can't get ball movement if your players are standing in one place. You have to get ball and player movement. They are intertwined. One is based on the other. And the ball was popping in the first quarter. And there was times it did in the second half, we just missed. And then we quit doing it because we missed. And that can't be the marker.
Kevin, final question? Kevin, you got your hand
Hi.
up?
Yes. Hi, coach. And tough one tonight. This is a two-part question. First, I know that the Liberty outscored between the end of the first quarter and the first 3 to 4 minutes of the second quarter, 20-2. What were some of the adjustments that you saw looking on the floor from a defensive standpoint that kind of took that swing that they had to change that momentum? And then the second question, from an offensive standpoint, you guys had 15 assists on 12 turnovers. How did you assess New York's adjustment defensively based off of their pressure and their length that you could see from the floor?
Any other questions? Your first question was about the adjustments. Is that correct, in the second quarter, starting at the second quarter?
Yeah, so from the end of the first quarter to about the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second quarter, the New York Liberty went on about a 22 run. What were some of the adjustments you saw from that standpoint and from a lack of defensive perspective on your team?
I got it, thank you. Our pickup points started to be crappy. We got soft. We didn't engage the ball well enough. They kind of just bully balled us and get into spots. If you go back and you start watching, they're picking us up full court and we're picking on them up at the freaking hash mark. It's not good enough. So instead of extending pressure, we kind of shrunk back. Then we went away from some schemes. We gave them some switching that wasn't supposed to happen. Switching gets you into rotations. It makes it a disadvantage on the boards. I mean, I could go down a list of things that we did wrong, sir. And we missed shots, so it starts to compound because now you're playing in transition defense all the time. So, I mean, it's like plugging 12 different holes in the dam. Everybody gotta be doing their job at the same time at a high rate of want to factor, of edge, of execution. It can't just, I think they played harder than us in some ways, that's probably the most disappointing. Ball doesn't go in, out, whatever, this adjustment, that adjustment. You can't get outplayed heart-wise. That sucks. That's disappointing.
Thank you, Becky.
I don't remember.
Thank you, Coach.